The rain-slicked streets of Brooklyn gleamed under the sodium lamps as I sprinted toward the glow of our apartment building, my lungs burning like they'd been lit on fire. "You can't do this to me, Alex." Jamie's voice cracked through the phone pressed to my ear, raw and shattering, like glass under my boot. I froze mid-stride, the world tilting, because in that moment, I realized the man I just kissed under the deluge, tasting salt and secrets, was the one person who could unravel everything I'd built. It started innocently enough, back in those sweltering July days when New York felt like a pressure cooker ready to blow. I was 24, fresh out of a dead-end graphic design gig in Queens, crashing on Jamie's couch in Williamsburg while I figured out my next move. Jamie, my best friend since we were scrawny kids dodging dodgeballs in a Jersey elementary school, had always been my anchor. He was the straight arrow type. Barista by day, amateur comedian by night, with a laugh that could defuse a bomb and a heart big enough to share his tiny one-bedroom with strays like me. We'd bonded over bad horror flicks and even worse takeout, whispering dreams under threadbare blankets about escaping the grind for something real. That summer, Jamie got obsessed with running. Not just jogging, full-on marathon training. "It's life, man," he'd say, lacing up his Nikes with that evangelical gleam in his eye. "Pounding pavement clears the bullshit from your head." He roped me in, promising it'd fix my perpetual slump. We mapped out routes along the East River, timing ourselves against the ferry horns and the distant rumble of the subway. It worked, sort of. The rhythm of our feet synced up like old times, and for the first few weeks, it was us against the city. Sweat-soaked high fives at the finish, collapsing on his fire escape with Gatorades and stories of girls he'd swiped right on. But then came the injury. A twisted ankle during a pickup basketball game with his league buddies. Nothing major, the doc said, but enough to sideline him for months. 6 weeks minimum, Jamie groaned from the couch, his foot propped on a stack of comic books, ice pack dripping onto the rug. "You're on your own, Alex. Don't quit on me. Okay? Promise you'll keep the faith." I promised. Hell, I even doubled down, signing up for the New York City Marathon lottery on a whim, telling myself it was for him. But solo runs in the pre-dawn haze, they sucked the soul right out of you. The paths felt endless, haunted by my own echoes, every shadow a reminder of how alone I was. Not just on the trail, but in the bigger picture. I'd known I was gay since high school, but coming out to Jamie had been a non-event. A casual cool, bro over beers, no drama. Still, dating in the city was a minefield, ghosted grinder hookups, awkward brunches that fizzled, and running became my confessional, pounding out frustrations mile after mile. Enter Ethan, Jamie's older brother by 3 years, the golden boy who'd bailed on New York for law school in Boston but was back for a summer clerkship at some fancy firm in Midtown. Ethan was everything Jamie wasn't. Polished, reserved, with that effortless charm that made you feel seen without trying too hard. I'd met him a handful of times, Thanksgivings in Jersey, where he'd ruffle my hair like I was still 12, but we'd never really talked. He was the brother who sent care packages of artisanal coffee and cryptic postcards from his travels, the one Jamie idolized and ribbed in equal measure. It was a sticky Thursday evening when Jamie, hopped up on painkillers and boredom, hatched the plan. "Ethan's here for the summer. He's a beast. Ran the Boston Marathon last year, sub 3 hours. Text him. He'll train with you." I laughed it off, scrolling Netflix for distractions, but Jamie wouldn't drop it. By midnight, my phone buzzed with a reply from an unknown number. "Heard you need a running partner. Up for 6 a.m. tomorrow? East River Greenway, mile 1 marker." I showed up bleary-eyed, nursing a black coffee from the bodega, convinced he'd flake. But there he was, stretching against the railing, dawn painting the water in pinks and golds. Ethan looked up, flashed a grin that hit like caffeine. Crooked, genuine, framed by tousled dark hair still damp from a shower. "Alex, right? Jamie's hype man. Ready to suffer." We started slow, matching paces along the esplanade, the city stirring awake around us. Joggers in neon, dog walkers cursing leashes, the faint sizzle of food carts firing up. Ethan didn't chatter like Jamie. He listened. When I vented about job hunts, endless rejections from agencies that ghosted faster than exes, he nodded, sharing snippets of his own grind. Late nights poring over case law, the isolation of being the responsible one in a family of dreamers. "It's not about winning," he said after our first 5-miler. Hands on knees as we caught our breath by the water. "It's about showing up when it counts." By week 2, our runs had a rhythm. We'd push harder, intervals along the path, sprints past the UN building, then cool down with walks, debating everything from indie bands to the ethics of plea bargains. Ethan had this way of seeing through the noise. When I admitted my fear of ending up like my dad, stuck in a cubicle, bitter and alone, he didn't pity me. "You're not him, Alex. You're the guy who runs toward the storm, not away." His words lingered, warm as the summer sun on our skin. Jamie noticed the shift immediately. "You're glowing, dude. Ethan's magic or what?" I'd shrug it off, blaming endorphins, but inside, something stirred. Late-night texts evolved from route confirmations to memes about bad dates. Then deeper dives. Ethan's quiet confession about the pressure of being the family success story. My own buried ache for connection beyond the superficial. One humid night, post-run, we detoured to a hole-in-the-wall taqueria in Dumbo. Over tacos al pastor, grease dripping onto wax paper, he asked about my art. Not the freelance crap, the sketches I hid in notebooks, visions of New York as a fever dream of lights and longing. "You should show them," he said, eyes locking on mine across the rickety table. The air thickened, charged like the sky before thunder. I wanted to lean across and close the distance. But Jamie's face flashed in my mind, oblivious and trusting. Ethan was off limits, a line I couldn't cross. Or so I thought. The betrayal crept in slow, insidious as fog off the river. It was mid-August, the marathon quals looming, when Jamie cornered me in the kitchen, his ankle finally brace-free but his mood stormy. "You've been weird, Alex. Distant. Is it Ethan? You two are like inseparable now." I froze, spatula midair over sizzling eggs, heart jackhammering. "What? No, man. Just training." But Jamie's eyes narrowed, that comedian's intuition kicking in. "Bullshit. I saw the way you look at him. At the barbecue last weekend. You lingered." The words landed like punches. I'd been careful. No touches, no slips. But there it was, exposed under his gaze. "He's my brother, Alex. Straight as an arrow. Don't make this messy." I laughed it off, forced, brittle, but the seed was planted. Doubt, guilt, and worse, the truth I'd buried. Ethan wasn't straight. Not entirely. It slipped out during a brutal hill repeat in Prospect Park. Sweat stinging our eyes as we crested the rise. "Ever wonder what it'd be like?" I panted, the question hanging reckless between us. "If we weren't, complicated." He stopped, chest heaving, and for a beat, the world narrowed to his hazel eyes, stormy with something unspoken. "Every damn day," he whispered. Then he closed the gap, his hand brushing mine. Not accidental, electric. We didn't kiss then. The park buzzed with families, oblivious. But the pull was there, undeniable, a current dragging us under. From there, the runs blurred into stolen moments. A shared water bottle, fingers lingering too long. Whispers on the ferry back from Staten Island loops. "This scares me, Alex." "Jamie, he's the glue." I'd nod, throat tight because it did scare me. Ethan carried ghosts. A college fling gone south, outed and iced out by his conservative prep school crowd. "I swore off it," he'd say, voice rough. "Too much fallout." But with me, he unfolded, layer by layer. The boy who dreamed of Broadway before law books swallowed him. The man who sketched cityscapes in secret, mirroring my own hidden passions. We kept it platonic on the surface, high fives, bro hugs, but the undercurrent built. Jamie withdrew, his jokes sharper, silences longer. "You're choosing him over me," he accused one night, beers clinking too hard on the counter. "We're supposed to be ride or die." I denied it, but the fracture widened. My sketches piled up, inspired by Ethan's quiet strength. Charcoal lines of runners against skylines, faces half-shadowed with yearning. The climax hit like a nor'easter, the night before the marathon qualifier in Central Park. Jamie had planned a send-off, pizza, his comedy troupe riffing on my inevitable glorious failure. But Ethan showed instead, casual in chinos and a button-down that hugged his runner's build. The air crackled from the jump. Jamie's smile faltered, eyes darting between us like he was piecing a puzzle he didn't want solved. We ate in fits and starts, laughter forced until Jamie snapped. "What's this, huh? Family reunion without me?" Ethan tried diffusing, just cheering Alex on. But Jamie whirled on me. "Tell him, Alex. Tell him why you're really running these miles." The room spun. I stood, chair scraping, words tumbling. "Because I need this. For me. Not for you, not for anyone." It escalated fast. Jamie's voice rising, accusations flying. Betrayal, using his brother as a crutch, abandoning our pact. Ethan stepped in, calm but firm. "Back off, Jamie. This isn't about you." And then, the bomb. Jamie's face crumpling as he spat. "I knew it. I saw the texts. The looks. You're fucking ruining us, Alex." Time fractured. Ethan went pale, I went numb. Jamie stormed out, door slamming like Judgment Day. In the wreckage, Ethan and I stood amid pizza boxes and shattered trust. "He knows?" I whispered, the weight crushing. Ethan pulled me into a hug. First real one, solid and trembling. "We'll fix it. Together." But dawn brought the rain, and with it, the kiss. Outside my door. No, Ethan's hotel in Chelsea, where I'd fled for solace. We collided under the awning, lips meeting in a desperate bid for truth. It was soft at first, exploratory, then fierce. Hands in hair, breaths mingling, the storm mirroring the chaos inside. "I can't lose you," he murmured against my mouth. "Not now." We broke apart when Jamie's call came. Voice wrecked. "Alex, come home, please." The shock rippled out. Betrayal's echo, love's fragile dawn. What happened next? It shocked me to my core, forcing choices that would redefine us all. The qualifier race dawned gray and relentless. The kind of New York autumn morning where the wind whips off the reservoir like a slap, reminding you the city's got teeth. I lined up at the start in Central Park, number pinned crooked to my singlet, legs jelly from lack of sleep. Ethan had walked me to the corral at 5 a.m., his hand brushing my elbow in that new, secret way, solid, reassuring, before melting into the spectator crowd. "You've got this," he'd whispered, eyes holding mine a beat too long. Jamie hadn't shown. No text, no sign. The void ached worse than any blister. The gun cracked and we surged. A herd of pounding feet, labored breaths, the path a blur of fallen leaves and cheering knots along the great hill. Mile 1 blurred into 2. My mind a loop of last night's fallout. Jamie's hurled words, Ethan's tentative touch, the kiss that tasted like rain and ruin. Betrayal. The word looped with my strides, each footfall a confession I couldn't outrun. I'd crossed a line, not just with Jamie, but with myself, hiding this pull toward Ethan behind bro code and best friend loyalty. By mile 5, the hills bit deep, quads screaming as we looped past the Met. Sweat blurred my vision, but there he was, Ethan, perched on a bench, clapping steady as a metronome. Our eyes locked, and for a split second, the burn faded. He mouthed, "Breathe." I did, pushing harder, fueled by that gaze, hazel and unwavering, seeing the mess I was and choosing it anyway. The pack thinned after the halfway mark, stragglers dropping like leaves in the gusts. My watch beeped 10 miles. I was on pace, barely, but the emotional churn clawed at me. Flashes. Jamie and me at 15, sneaking beers on his roof, vowing eternal alliance. Ethan at 21, visiting from college, sharing a joint and stories of Paris hostels where he'd first questioned his own straight-laced script. How had I missed it? The signs, his lingering hugs, the way he'd defend my weird art phase to skeptical aunts. Or had I ignored them, terrified of the fallout? A cramp seized my side near the boathouse, forcing a hobble. Spectators blurred, faceless encouragement, until a familiar shout cut through. "Alex! Dig deep!" Jamie. He stood at the railing, hoodie zipped to his chin, face a mask of conflict, pride warring with hurt. Our eyes met, and he nodded once sharp before turning away. It was enough. Tears mixed with sweat as I crested the rise. The final 3 miles a gauntlet of will. Ethan reappeared at the finish chute, arms open as I staggered across, metal dangling like a noose. "You did it," he said, pulling me close amid the crush, his voice low against my ear. The hug lingered, bodies slick and spent, and in that press of strangers no one noticed the shift. The way his hand settled at my waist, possessive and tender. Jamie was here. He saw. My stomach nodded. And Ethan's jaw tightened. "He talked to me after you started," said. "He gets it, but he's scared. Of losing you. Both of us." The words hung as we walked out, metals clinking, the park emptying under gathering clouds. We grabbed coffees at a cart near the zoo, black, steaming, and sat on a bench overlooking the ponds, ducks paddling oblivious. "I need to fix this," I said, staring into the dark liquid. "Jamie's my family. You're something else." Ethan nodded, slow. "I know, but don't hide us, Alex. Not for him, not for anyone." His fingers brushed mine on the wood slats, deliberate, electric, and I didn't pull away. Instead, I turned my palm up, lacing our hands. It was small, seismic, the first open claim in daylight. "Okay," I breathed. "Together." We met Jamie that afternoon at his apartment, the air thick with takeout smells and unspoken grenades. He opened the door in sweats, eyes red-rimmed, but he stepped aside. "Congrats, marathon man," he muttered, clapping my shoulder too hard. We settled in the living room, couch sagging under us, pizza boxes from last night still scattered like evidence. It started civil. Race recaps, Ethan's dry quips about my flailing giraffe form. But tension coiled, Jamie's laughs forced, his glances darting like he was mapping exits. Finally, over a slice gone cold, he set it down. "Look, I overreacted last night. The yelling, the storm out. It's just, you're my person, Alex, and Ethan's blood. Seeing you two circle each other like that, it felt like betrayal squared." Ethan leaned forward, elbows on knees. "It wasn't meant to hurt you, Jam. Alex and we didn't plan this. It just happened." Jamie snorted, bitter. "Happened, right? Like I didn't notice the texts at 2 a.m. The inside jokes on runs I couldn't join." His eyes flicked to me, wounded. "You could have told me. Instead, you let me play the fool." Guilt surged, hot. "I was scared," I admitted, voice cracking, "of screwing us up. You're straight. I'm not uncomplicated. And Ethan, he's your brother. The golden child. I didn't want to be the wrecking ball." Jamie rubbed his face, exhaling long. "I'm not straight edge about it, okay? I get love's messy. Hell, I've got my own baggage. That girl in college who bailed when I wouldn't label us." He paused, glancing at Ethan. "But you two? It's like watching your favorite band split. Personal." The room stilled, pizza forgotten. Ethan reached across, gripping Jamie's knee. "We're not splitting. Family's not a zero-sum game. Alex, he makes me better, braver. And you're the reason I know what loyalty looks like." Jamie's throat bobbed, eyes glistening. "Yeah? Well, don't fuck it up. Either of you." It wasn't absolution, not yet, but a bridge, rickety and real. We talked then, raw. My fears of invisibility in a city that chews dreamers. Ethan's law school burnout, the closet he'd half built. Jamie's comedy fears, bombing stages to mask loneliness. Hours bled into evening, the skyline igniting beyond the window, and for the first time, it felt like us, 3 threads weaving tighter, not fraying. That night, Ethan walked me home through the drizzle. Our steps synced like old runs. At my stoop, sublet in Bushwick, paint peeling, we paused under the bulb's halo. "Thank you," I said, turning to him. The kiss came natural this time. Slow, deepening, his hands framing my face as rain pattered our shoulders. No storm, just us vulnerable, alive. But peace is fleeting in New York. 2 weeks later, conflict reignited, sharper. Ethan's clerkship hit crunch time. Depositions piling, partners breathing down his neck. Our runs shortened, texts sparse. but the distance bred doubt. Then Jamie dropped the bomb over brunch at a Fort Greene spot, avocado toast and bottomless mimosas. Ethan's dating someone. From work. Some paralegal named Riley. The words landed like ice water. I choked on my sip, fork clattering. What? He didn't. Jamie shrugged. Guilty. Overheard him on the phone last night. Sounded serious. Thought you should know. Betrayal round 2, fresher, fiercer. I confronted Ethan that evening on the Greenway, twilight gilding the water purple. Riley? Really? My voice shook, fists balled in my hoodie. He winced, raking hair back. It's not God, Alex, it's a setup. Blind date from the firm. Damage control after a colleague clocked us at the park. Thinks I'm going through something. Relief ward with rage. Damage control? I'm not a phase, Ethan. The shout echoed, startling a jogger. Jamie's already on edge. If this leaks. It won't. He stepped close, voice urgent. I told her it's nothing. Told the firm I'm focused on work. But Alex, we can't keep hiding. Not if this is real. Is it? The question hung, my heart exposed. He answered not with words, but pulling me into shadow, kissing me fierce against the railing. Claiming, desperate. Yes, he growled. You're it. The shock. The mess. All worth it. We emerged shaky, resolved. Come out to Jamie fully, no half measures. But as we walked back, arm brushing arm, a text buzzed. Jamie, we need to talk. Now, found your sketchbook, Alex. The one with Ethan's face on every page. The shock deepened. Exposure unfiltered. My art, my soul laid bare. What next? A reckoning that could bind or break us forever. Jamie's text burned in my pocket like a live coal as Ethan and I hurried back to Williamsburg. The streets alive with Friday night hum. Bars spilling laughter. Cabs honking impatient. My mind raced ahead. The sketchbook, tucked under my mattress like contraband. Pages filled with Ethan's unguarded moments. Profile against the skyline. Laugh lines etched in pencil. Eyes that held oceans. It wasn't just art. It was confession, raw and unapologetic. How had Jamie found it? Snuck in during a run? Pried while I showered? We burst into the apartment, door banging wide. Jamie paced the living room, sketchbook clutched like evidence in a trial. His face a storm front. Anger, confusion, something softer. Hurt masked as accusation. Sit, he barked, slamming it on the coffee table. Pages fluttered open to a double spread. Ethan mid-stride, muscles taut, expression fierce with unspoken want. Ethan froze in the doorway, color draining. I dropped onto the couch, knees weak. Jam. I can explain. Explain. He whirled, voice pitching high. This isn't some doodle, Alex. It's obsession. My brother. Plastered across 50 pages like he's your goddamn muse. His eyes flicked to Ethan, betrayal sharpening. And you knew about this? Let him pine like a lovesick puppy while you play house. Ethan stepped forward, hands raised. It's not like that. The sketches, they're beautiful. Honest. Alex sees me, Jam. Really sees. Jamie laughed, hollow. Sees you? While lying to my face. We had that talk. Just training. And all along this, he jabbed the book. A portrait of us three from the barbecue trembling under his finger. You drew us happy. Fake. The words sliced. I leaned in, voice steady despite the quake. Not fake. Hopeful. I drew what I wanted, what we could be. Before the mess. Tears pricked. I blinked them back. I'm sorry I hid it. Scared you'd hate me. Hate us. Silence stretched, taut as a wire. Jamie sank into the armchair. Book sliding to his lap. Thumb tracing a line. Ethan's jaw, shadowed soft. Hate you. His voice cracked. You're my brother, Alex. Blood or not. But this, it blindsided me. Like losing the only constant I had. Ethan knelt beside him, brother to brother, hand on his arm. You won't lose him. Or me. We're fumbling, yeah, but we're family. All of us. Jamie's shoulders hitched, and he nodded, jerky, reluctant. Passing the book to me. Keep it hidden better next time, Picasso. Or better yet, show the world. Own it. The air lightened, fractionally. We ordered Thai, drunken noodles steaming, spring rolls crisp, and talked through the night, walls crumbling. Jamie admitted his own secrets. A crush on our high school theater kid, buried under straight guy armor. Fears that his comedy masked deeper voids. Ethan shared law dreams deferred, wanting to fight for queer rights, not corporate sharks. Me? I vowed transparency. No more closets, shared or solo. By midnight, sketches splayed like a map to our future. Laughter edged back in, Jamie mimicking Ethan's serious lawyer face. Me sketching caricatures on napkins. Felt mended, fragile but forward. Ethan crashed on the couch, our fingers brushing in passing. Promise unspoken. But romance, like the city, doesn't stay patched. Ethan's firm amped pressure. Billable hours eclipsing runs. Weekends lost to briefs. Our stolen moments shrank. A hurried coffee in Midtown. Texts laced with longing. Miss your pace. He'd write at 3 a.m. I'd reply with a sketch. Our hands intertwined, captioned soon. Jamie and I rebuilt 2 solo runs, turning duo again, his ankle strong. You're different. He noted one crisp October dawn. Leaves crunching underfoot. Lighter. Ethan's good for you. Yeah. I grinned, breath fogging. He's home. But home cracked when Riley resurfaced. Ethan's damage control date had bloomed unintended. Firm happy hours. Group lunches. Into something the office whispered about. She's pushing for exclusive. He confessed over falafel in Astoria. Eyes evading mine. Says I'm distracted. If I bail now, it tanks my review. Jealousy flared, hot and ugly. Distracted? By me? I shoved my plate away, chickpeas scattering. Or is this your out? Safe. Straight passing Ethan. Back on script. He recoiled. That's not fair. This job, it's my ticket out of Dad's shadow. I can't blow it. And us? Collateral? The words hung venomous. We parted storming. Me to a solo run till my feet bled. Him to another obligatory dinner. Days blurred into radio silence, broken only by Jamie's worried check-ins. You okay? Ethan looks wrecked. The climax brewed at the Full Marathon Expo. Javits Center, a zoo of booths and buffs. I qualified. Ethan was my +1 Jamie cheering squad. Amid the energy gels and gait analyses, Riley appeared blonde, poised, arm looped through Ethan's like claim. Alex, Jamie's friend, right? Her smile was all teeth, oblivious or not. Ethan stiffened, extracting gently. Riley, this is complicated. Her brow arched. Complicated how? The crowd milled, but her voice carried sharp, probing. I bolted, weaving through vendors, chest tight. Outside, under the Hudson's shadow, Ethan found me slumped on a curb. Alex, don't. I stood. Rain starting again. Fate's cruel echo. Choose. Her, the firm, the easy path. Or us, the shock, the scandal. He cupped my face, rain sheeting our skin. You. Always. The kiss was defiant, public. Horns blaring approval or scorn. Who cared? Riley's gasp echoed faint. But we clung, world narrowing to pulse and promise. Word spread fast. Whispers in hallways, Jamie fielding Ethan's frantic calls. You outed us? Jamie demanded later, half admiring, half freaked. Ballsy. Not outed. Freed. I smiled, shaky. But freedom's price loomed. Ethan's boss summoning him Monday. Riley's icy exit. The shock? Not the kiss, but what followed. A choice that tested every bond. As winter nipped the air, we navigated fallout. Ethan took a hit, demotion threat, water cooler stares, but he fought, citing firm policy on personal lives. No more hiding, he declared, quitting the clerkship for a non-profit gig. Pro bono for LGBTQ+ cases. Passion reignited. Jamie stood buffer, roasting doubters in open mics. My brother's gayer than a rainbow parade, and twice as fierce. Me? The marathon became metaphor, grueling miles mirroring our mending. Crossing the Verrazano into Staten Island, Ethan's face in the crowd fueled me. Verrazano finish? Jamie's hug grounded. We three celebrated at a Brooklyn dive. Beers foaming, stories flowing. Family redefined. Yet depth demanded sacrifice. One snowy night, Ethan confessed, Riley wasn't nothing. She saw the parts one hid, even from you. Vulnerability's gift. We delved deeper, therapy sessions unpacking closets, sketches evolving to joint canvases. Our love, layered and luminous. The humanistic turn came quiet, spring blooming. Jamie landed a comedy spot, LGBTQ plus night, dedicating his set to the brothers who schooled me in heart. Ethan advocated his first case win. A trans kid's rights, tears in court. Me, gallery show, sketches of us, titled Pace Setters, sold out, critics calling it raw Americana romance. What shocked me most? Not the betrayal's sting, but redemption's grace. In America's grind, Brooklyn stoops to Central Park loops, we found not perfection but people. Flawed, fierce, forever. Spring in New York is a tease. Blossoms unfurling defiant against concrete. But one rogue chill can snap them back. That's how it felt as Ethan and I navigated the aftershocks of our public claim. The city a magnifying glass on every glance, every graze. His resignation from the firm hit headlines in niche legal blogs. Top clerk quits amid romance rumors. Support poured in queer networks buzzing, old college allies texting solidarity. But so did the barbs. Anonymous emails calling Ethan a quota hire. Riley's LinkedIn post veiled as moving on from toxicity. I watched him fray at the edges during our runs now. Routes veering to quieter paths in McCarran Park, where dog walkers minded their leashes. Worth it, I'd ask, matching his shortened stride. He'd squeeze my hand, hidden in hoodie pockets. Every glare, because mornings like this, you, me, alive. But doubt lingered in his silences. The way he'd stare at case files till dawn, chasing validation in verdicts. Jamie, ever the fixer, orchestrated interventions. Group brunches at his cafe gig, where he'd comp us scones and play therapist. You're both idiots, he'd grumble, frothing lattes. Ethan, stop martyring. Alex, stop sketching doomsday. His humor masked worry. He'd confided in me post-open mic. Seeing you happy? Kills me to think I almost torpedoed it. But damn, it's scary. What if the world's too ugly? It was. Ugly reared during Ethan's first nonprofit stint. A youth center in the Bronx, counseling queer kids edged out by families. One evening, he came home to our shared Bushwick walk-up. My sublet upgraded to us. Hollow-eyed. Kid today, 16, kicked out for a flag pin. Echoes of me at that age. He collapsed on the couch, head in my lap. I stroked his hair, murmuring nonsense about resilience. But inside, rage simmered. America the beautiful? More like patchwork quilt, threads pulling at the seams. Our romance deepened in those valleys. Candlelit dinners of takeout Thai, slow dances to Coltrane on vinyl, bodies entwining chaste but charged, whispers tracing collarbones with promises. No rush to bedsheets. This was soul work, building trust brick by kiss. You're my north? Ethan breathed one night, forehead to mine under the string lights. Steady when I spin. Yet conflict simmered domestic. My freelance gigs ballooning. Logos for queer brands, murals for pride events. While Ethan's salary dipped, bills stacking like accusations. You're carrying us, he muttered over ramen one stormy April eve. Thunder rattling windows. Bullshit. I shot back, chopsticks clacking. We're a team, like the runs, pace together or crash. He nodded, but the seed sprouted. Self-doubt, Ethan's old foe. It peaked mid-May, my gallery opening looming, pace setters, sketches of our triad now framed as triptychs. Jamie's grin, Ethan's gaze, my stride merging. Invites went citywide. RSVPs swelled. Ethan promised to shine. Suit pressed, speech prepped, but the night before, panic hit. I found him at the kitchen table, 2 a.m., whiskey glass sweating rings. Can't do it, he slurred, eyes glassy. Face them? The stares, the whispers, Riley's crowd will be there. Firm alums. I'll choke. I knelt, taking his hands, cold, trembling. Then we face it. Together. Or skip. Run instead, you and me against the rain. He laughed. Bitter. Running's your escape, not mine. I'm the guy who soothes the storm. Remember? The fight ignited slow burn. My insistence on showing up authentic. His retreat to armor. You're ashamed. I accused, voice rising over the downpour. Of us? Me? No. He stood, pacing. Of failing you. The golden boy, reduced to non-profit scraps while you bloom. Tears tracked his cheeks. I love you, Alex. But love's not enough when the rent's due. The door slam echoed my exit. Storming to Jamie's. Couch my refuge. Dawn run solo, pounding pavement till catharsis. Jamie found me at the finish, drenched and done. Idiot, he said. No preamble, thrusting coffee. Both of you. Call him. I did. From a payphone relic near the bridge voicemail. Raw plea. I'm sorry. You're not failure, you're fire. Come home. He did that afternoon. Soaked suit, eyes red but resolute. We collided in the hall, hug bruising, apologies tumbling. I called Riley. He confessed later, curled on the bed. Told her everything. Clean break. Relief flooded. And the opening? Together. His smile tentative. Proudly. The gallery pulsed that night. Loft in Chelsea. White walls glowing under spots. Air humming with clinks and murmurs. Jamie manned the door, schmoozing like a pro. Yeah, that's my brother. And his better half. Ethan arrived sharp. Navy blazer. Tie askew just so. Hand firm in mine. Whispers followed. Riley's glare from a corner cluster. But we moved through. Ethan's arm my anchor. My speech faltered at first. Spotlight hot. Crowd expectant. But his thumb stroking my palm steadied. These aren't just lines, I said, gesturing the triptych. They're paces. Through betrayal, shock, love. For the brothers who ran with me. Applause swelled. A collector bit high on the central piece. Us, mid-kiss shadowed soft. After rooftop party. City sprawl glittering, champagne fizzing. Jamie cornered us by the railing. Proud, he toasted, eyes misty. Of this weird-ass family. Ethan pulled me aside then, skyline our witness. You were right. Facing it, us. It's the win. His kiss lingered. Champagne sweet. World fading to heartbeat. Summer returned humid. Our rhythm renewed. Longer runs. Joint art law hustles. Jamie's comedy gaining traction. A web series pilot. Bro code breakers. But humanism whispered deeper. Volunteering at the center. Ethan mentoring that kid into community college. Me teaching sketch circles for shy queer youth. You're changing lives. I'd tell him, post-session glow. One July 4th. Fireworks bursting over the East River. We three sprawled on a blanket in Domino Park. Hot dogs greasy, beers cold. Remember the qualifier? Jamie mused, sparks reflecting in his eyes. Thought I'd lost you both. Ethan slung an arm around him. Never. Shocks make the story. I leaned into Ethan, head on shoulder. And the ending? Ours to write. As booms echoed, I knew. Not tragic, not flawless, but human. American dream, queered and claimed. Autumn circled back relentless. Leaves carpeting paths like confetti from a year we'd barely survived. The marathon anniversary hit quiet. No fanfare, just us three at the start line again. Jamie fully healed. Ethan in client casuals from a morning deposition. Me lacing Nikes with ritual care. Full circle, Jamie said, bumping fists. Don't puke this time, lightweight. I laughed, nerves jangling. Not from Miles, but the envelope in my pocket. Ethan's latest acceptance. A fellowship for queer advocacy at Columbia Law. We'd celebrated low-key last night. Craft beers on the fire escape. My latest mural commission sketched on napkins. But today felt milestone. 1 year since the kiss in the rain. The shock that shattered and rebuilt. The gun fired. We surged into the park. A pack of one this time. Jamie peeling off at mile 3 for work. Ethan shadowing the course on his bike. Water bottle thrusts like lifelines. The route unfolded familiar. Bethesda fountains bustle. Cat Hills grind. Harlem mere serene under haze. My legs ate ground steady, mind drifting to depths we'd plumbed since. Love, we'd learned, wasn't linear, more like these loops revisiting scars to heal them. Ethan's fellowship meant relocation talks. Manhattan sublet? Or hold Brooklyn's grit? Closer to the fight, he'd argue, eyes alight. I'd counter with art scene roots, Jamie's proximity. Fights everywhere, I'd say. Even here in the everyday. A deeper conflict had simmered spring into summer. Ethan's ex, not Riley, but Mark, the college ghost. A conference in Boston unearthed him. Chance airport run-in, drinks turned to section. He apologized. Ethan confessed post-flight, voice thick over takeout low main. For ghosting after we got caught. Said he was scared, closet too tight. Jealousy nipped, irrational. And you? Forgave. He nodded, slow. Had to. For me. To close the loop. It stung, old wounds reopening, but sparked growth. Therapy tandem, unpacking projections. You're not Mark, I affirmed one session, hands clasped across the circle. You're here. Choosing. He squeezed back. Every dawn run. Jamie wove in two, his pilot greenlit. Streaming now. Episodes riffing our saga anonymized. Besties Bro steals the show, literally. Ratings climbed. He credited us. You queers taught me vulnerability sells. But fame's shadow loomed. Paparazzi light at tapings. Fans demanding thirst traps. Feels invasive. He admitted over beers one night. Post-shoot glow dimmed. Like I'm performing pain. We rallied. A no-filter pact. Weekly check-ins. No bullshit. It bound us tighter. This triad. Ethan's intellect. Jamie's wit. My vision colors blending in murals now co-signed. Comedy bits beta tested on runs. The races halfway beeped. I glanced back. Ethan pedaling steady. Thumbs up flashing. Spectators blurred, but faces sharpened. A kid from the center, waving a sign run for us. Ethan's doing. Humanism's quiet pulse. Small acts rippling. I'd volunteered more since the gallery. Workshops and shelters, sketches for kids' stories, turning isolation to ink. Mile 20 hit the wall. Famous breaker. Legs leaden, breath ragged. Doubts crowded. Was this sustainable? Ethan's fellowship pulling him academic. My art gigs scattering to LA scouts. Jamie's series demanding coasts. The shock of potential fracture loomed larger than fatigue. But then Ethan's voice cut through. By coasting parallel. Eyes on me, Alex. Remember the why. His gaze, fierce, fond, recalled that first run. Promise in the dawn. I nodded, surging, the final bridge a blur of will. Finish line chaos. Confetti, cheers, Jamie barreling through barriers for a bear hug. Sub 4. Beast mode. Ethan joined, metal draping us all. His kiss chaste but claiming. Crowd whooping approval. Proud, he murmured, lips brushing ear. Post-race ritual. Diner in Hell's Kitchen, stacks towering, coffee endless. So, Jamie prodded, syrup dripping. The elephant fellowship. Spill. Ethan set his fork down, glancing my way, permission sought. It's full ride, but conditional. DC rotations, policy work. The table stilled. DC hours south, Beltway bustle over Brooklyn buzz. My throat tightened. When? Fall. He reached for my hand, open on the formica. We could. Go. I cut in, surprising us. This is your fire, Ethan. The fight we talked, queer rights, real change. I'll visit. Sketch the monuments. Lobbyists be damned. Jamie whistled low. Noble. But selfishly? DC's lame without you, bro. His grin softened. Series is flexible. Maybe guest spots? Ethan's eyes searched mine, vulnerable. You sure? Last year. The shocks. Didn't want to chain you. I leaned in, kissing knuckles. Chains? Nah, this is launch. Like the run. End one loop, start the next. Tears pricked his lashes. He nodded, resolve blooming. Then DC it is. But weekends? Non-negotiable. And calls at dawn, virtual runs. Deal. Relief washed, sweet as victory. The months blurred transitional. Ethan's move in August, U-Haul crammed with law tomes and our joint canvas. A Brooklyn skyline, half-finished. Goodbyes stretched. Last run along the Greenway, Jamie timing us nostalgic. Final mural, my brush in his hand for the last stroke. Fall found me solo in the city, easel by the river, but not alone. Jamie's series exploded, co-writing sessions filling voids. Center Kids stories fueling art. Ethan's calls anchored. Policy wins whispered husky. Miss your stride texts with DC cherry blossom selfies. Thanksgiving pulled us Jersey Ward. Family table tense at first, Mom's side eyes at Ethan's hand in mine. But Jamie's toast thawed. To shocks that stick. Laughter followed, pie warm. Winter solstice brought the turn. Ethan's holiday visit, snow dusting stoops. We ran Central Park blanketed white, breaths clouds. Jamie trailing on snowshoes comic. Post-run Coco, he proposed. Not rings, but packed. Triad forever. Coasts be damned. New Year's Eve, rooftop under stars. Ethan pulled me close amid countdown cheers. 1 year shocked, he said. Fireworks blooming. Infinite more? Yes. Our kiss sealed it romantic, resolute. The ending? No tidy bow but humanistic arc. Betrayal to belonging, conflict to communion. In America's vast, varied weave, we ran on. Paces synced, hearts full, shocking the world one step at a time.